So you want to start making money on Upwork in Nigeria? You are in the right place, because in this video I'm going to share with you the strategies, the steps that you can follow in order to start making over $3,000 per month in Upwork in Nigeria. Hi there, my name is Sadiq Umar. I am a full-time freelancer living in Nigeria, and this video is going to be based on my personal experience of starting freelancing and becoming a full-time freelancer. When I started freelancing, I had a full-time job that faced me around 45,000 naira per month. I started freelancing with the hope of earning some extra income to support my salary. I had no idea the amount of money that I can possibly earn in freelancing, but I started with a commitment to see it through. I started with the determination to do whatever it takes to make it work. And that is why I never gave up. I learned everything that I needed to learn in order to become a successful freelancer, and that led me to quit my full-time job and become a full-time freelancer, making more money than I thought was possible. Okay, the first thing that you need to do in order to start freelancing and start making money on Upwork is to create your freelancer profile on Upwork. I am going to assume at this stage you already choose the service that you want to start selling as a freelancer. If you haven't chosen a service that you want to start selling, I recently did a video where I share top 5 skills that are suitable for African freelancers. So I am going to put a link to that video in the description of this video. It will help you choose a service that you want to start selling as a freelancer. Okay, when you choose the service that you want to start selling as a freelancer and you create your freelancer profile on Upwork, the first strategy is you shall brand your profile professionally. Your freelancer profile on Upwork is your freelancer portfolio. And your portfolio is what your potential clients are going to look at to evaluate your skills to determine whether they want to work with you or not. So the very first thing that you should do is you should brand your profile professionally. And how can you brand your profile professionally? Well, the first thing that a potential client is going to look at is your profile picture. So make sure you have a professional profile picture. And I don't mean to have a picture where you wear a suit and you have a full body picture and anything, but you should have a picture that shows clearly your smiling face. And you should also avoid using any picture that has too much noise in the background. If you have a picture that has too much noise in the background, you can either remove the background or take another picture. And the next thing that you need is you need to have a clear description of yourself and the services you are offering as a freelancer. And how can you do that? Well, the best way to do this is you should do a search on Upwork and find some top freelancers who are offering the same services that you want to start offering. And you can check out how they write their description and you can take inspiration from there. And another way to write your introduction is you search and find a freelancer who is offering the same services that you want to start offering. You read their description. If you like their description, you can simply copy their description and go to ChatGPT. You probably know what ChatGPT is, right? So you just go to ChatGPT, you paste their description and you use this prompt. You said, make this better, and you paste the description that you copied. And ChatGPT is going to rewrite the description and make it sound more professional. But don't just copy the description and use it on your profile, because it is going to sound professional, but it is also going to sound robotic. So what you should do is you shall copy the description that ChatGPT will generate for you, and you shall read and make changes and remove any fancy words, because most of these AI writers tend to use fancy words in order to make the writing sound professional, and we don't want that. You want your description to be as simple as possible, to be simple, straight to the point, and professional at the same time. So you should read the description that the AI generated for you and replace any fancy words with a simple and more common word. And the AI make mistakes sometimes. That is why you should read the description that the AI generated for you carefully. If there is any mistake, you delete it. And if the AI mention any other service that you are not offering, you delete that. You make any adjustment, any changes to make it unique to yourself. And after you make any adjustment, after you make any changes to the introduction, before you use it on your profile, it's best to copy the description after you make any changes to it and go to a software like Grammarly. You can use Grammarly on your web browser. So you can just go to Grammarly and paste the description. Grammarly is going to read through and find any spelling errors and any mistake and any grammatical errors. And if there are any grammatical errors and any mistakes, make sure you fix it before you use the description on your profile. So this is how you write a good description on your profile. The next thing that you should include in your portfolio is a sample of your work. Whether you have worked previously as a freelancer or even if this is the first time you are starting freelancing, you should include sample of your work on your profile. How can you have a sample project if you have never worked as a freelancer? Well, the easy way to do this is to create a sample project. If you want to start blog content writing, you can just find some interesting blog titles and you write your articles based on those topics, and you can include that in your profile. Even though you haven't done the project for a client, they are your own project. They will serve the purpose, because the purpose is to show the potential client this is what you can do for them. Other important information you can include in your profile is your education history and your employment history. If you have ever worked in your life, it doesn't have to be freelancing. Any work that you ever had in your life, you can add it in your profile. The point is, try to make your profile 100% completed, and make sure there are no grammar error on your profile, anywhere on your profile, because your profile is your storefront. Your profile is your portfolio, and when you start sending proposals to potential client, even if you write a good proposal, they are going to look at your profile first. If your profile doesn't look professional, if there are many errors on your profile, that will be an indication that you don't know what you are doing. So make sure your profile is set up correctly and everything looks right and professional on your profile. Okay, the next strategy that is going to help you earn over $3,000 per month is offer recurring services. What is a recurring service? A recurring service is a service that a client is going to need on a continuous basis, not once, not a one-off project. For example, if you choose to do logo design, the client who need logo design are probably going to need logo design when they are setting off a part of their business. They are not going to need a new logo every week. But an example of a recurring service is YouTube thumbnail design. YouTube thumbnail design is a service that anybody who need a YouTube thumbnail, they are going to need it in a continuous basis, because YouTube creators are the ones who need YouTube thumbnail, and YouTube creators create videos continuously every day, and anytime they create a new video, they are going to need a new thumbnail. So as content writing, blog content writing, the people who have a blog, they need content continuously every day or every week, depending on their schedule. So if you offer content writing, you have a high chance of getting a client that is going to pay you continuously on a continuous basis to write articles for them. Another example of a recurrent service is podcast editing. If you do podcast editing, if your work is acceptable, you are probably going to have a client who will be giving you podcast editing project on a continuous basis, because podcast creators are like YouTube video creators. They create a podcast on a continuous basis. So if you edit someone's podcast today, there is a good chance they are going to come back to you for another project. So this is the second strategy, offer recurring service, something that a client is going to keep coming back to you. The next strategy that is going to help you earn more money on Upwork is offer packages. Instead of offering a single service, you should offer a package. For example, instead of doing podcast editing, you can do podcast management. Podcast editing is just editing the episode, editing the audio or the video episode of your client, depending on whether they are doing video podcast or audio podcast. But if you do podcast management, you can edit their episode, you can find potential guests for them, you can write the potential guest email pitch, you can upload and schedule their episodes, you can do many things in podcast management. So instead of a one client paying you, let's say $100 to edit their podcast episode, they can pay you $500 to manage their entire podcast. So offering a package is one of the best strategies that are going to help you earn more money on Upwork. And depending on the service you are offering as a freelancer, I believe most services have an opportunity of creating a package. So think what you can include in your service to create a package, and create a package to start offering to your client. The next thing that you should do is you should focus on getting more 5-star reviews. The more 5-star reviews you have, the more credible you are on that platform. And the more reviews you get, the more projects you get. So it's important to focus on building more 5-star reviews, especially when you are just starting out. And how can you get more 5-star reviews? And the way to do this is to always ask your client to leave you a 5-star review after you complete a project for them. And I find that 90% of your clients are going to just give you a 5-star review if you ask them to. There are some clients who, when you complete a project for them, you'll never hear from them again. But most clients, if you ask them to leave you a 5-star review, they are going to leave you a 5-star review. This is what will help you get more high-paying clients. Okay, the next strategy is use multiple websites. There are 3 major freelancing platforms. They are Upwork.com, Fiverr.com, and Freelancer.com. So you shouldn't limit yourself to using only Upwork. You should also use Fiverr.com and Freelancer.com to try to find more clients. And another advantage of using multiple platforms is, in case if you have a problem with one platform, you still have another platform to be present on. And here is one of the key points that is going to determine your success as a freelancer, and that is client communication. You need to learn client communication. When you start working with clients, you need to be clear about the services you are providing for them. You need to be clear about the requirement, about what you are going to deliver for them. Because miscommunication when you start working as a freelancer is going to lead you to having bad review. If you are doing a content writing, for example, you need to be specific about the number of words that you are going to write in one article for them for a specific amount of payment, so that you don't end up having conflict with client that could lead to a bad review. And the more conversational and polite you are with client, the more they are probably going to feel comfortable with working with you again and again. So these are my strategies that will help you reach over $3,000 per month in Upwork in Nigeria. If you enjoy the video, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I will see you in the next video.